Picture waking up in a country where the federal Department of Education has vanished. No more national standards, no federal guidance, no oversight. At first glance, some would celebrate states free to chart their own educational course, no bureaucratic hand reaching into classrooms, no distant office deciding what kids should learn. But peel back the excitement, and things start to look a lot messier. And the question that quickly follows is, what happens next? And should we just let it happen? For the states, the removal of the Department of Education would mean massive autonomy and massive responsibility. Each state would be forced to take full ownership of public education. Some states might thrive, fueled by innovation and local pride. They could reimagine learning environments, tailor curriculums to local economies and cultures, and quickly respond to the needs of students and communities. But not every state has the resources or infrastructure to step up. Wealthier states with robust tax bases could easily outpace others, investing in technology, teacher training, and infrastructure. Meanwhile, underfunded or mismanaged states might watch their education systems crumble, leaving generations of students behind. Without federal oversight, educational inequality would likely explode. National standards, love them or hate them, exist to ensure that a high school diploma means roughly the same thing in Texas as it does in Maine. Without that structure, a child's academic future becomes a lottery of state politics and funding. Move across state lines, and your child could go from advanced science and critical thinking lessons to outdated textbooks and bare-bones curriculums. The playing field would become anything but level. For the people, the stakes are even more personal. Parents would have more say, sure, but also more uncertainty. The burden of research, advocacy, and pressure on local school boards would increase. You'd need to constantly ask, is my school district doing enough? Is my state looking out for all students or just some? Without national protections, children with disabilities, students of color, and those in low-income families could be left without consistent safeguards. It's not hard to imagine states rolling back progress quietly, unnoticed until the damage is done. College students would feel the shakeup too. Federal student loans, Pell Grants, and oversight of for-profit colleges could all disappear or morph into something unrecognizable. States would need to decide whether to offer their own financial aid programs or let students fend for themselves. The result could be a sharp decline in college accessibility, with higher education becoming even more of a privilege for the wealthy. Teachers would face both freedom and chaos. On one hand, they could escape federal mandates and standardized testing requirements. On the other, without national funding and professional development initiatives, they could lose support systems that help them grow and stay in the profession. Teacher mobility between states could become a nightmare if certification rules aren't standardized. The profession might become more fractured, more political, and more unstable. So what do we do about all of this? Should we fight to keep the Department of Education or prepare to function without it? The answer might be both. If the department stays, it needs to refocus on support rather than control, cut bureaucracy, empower states without abandoning them, and provide flexible funding tied to outcomes, not mandates. If it goes, states and communities must step up immediately with bold, cooperative solutions. States can't just close the door and figure it out alone. Regional compacts, educational alliances, and multi-state agreements could help maintain consistency and raise standards across borders. At the local level, parents and citizens need to become active, not just reactive. Attend school board meetings, push for transparency in spending and curriculum choices, and vote in local elections that impact education directly. Demand that your state invests in education as a priority, not as an afterthought. Philanthropic organizations and the private sector may need to play a larger role, but the risk is allowing profit motives to drive educational decisions rather than student outcomes. The truth is, education in America can't be left to chance. Whether or not the Department of Education exists, we need shared goals, collaborative efforts, and relentless advocacy for equity. We can't just sit back and hope the states get it right. If the chalk dust settles without a plan, the ones who lose the most are the kids who don't even know they're part of this experiment.